season, of course, Japanese gardens are to be enjoyed. The fall, the winter. This is not Adobe, by the way. This is going out and taking photos. And of course, this is very similar to what you saw earlier. Just to give you some perspective, this is in the winter. There's a lot of history that I'm not going to be able to get into, but it's worth mentioning. Senator Paul Douglas, many of you may know his name, he helped save the Indiana dunes. So a couple times you go to the dunes in Indiana, they were saved thanks to many, but Paul Douglas was recognized. Paul Douglas was a very famous, I know there are USC people here, so you could decide for yourself, but he was an economist associated with the University of Chicago, and eventually became a U.S. Senator from 1945 to until the 60s.
Alderman first.
Alderman first. But the reason why I stopped here is, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the senator's ashes are spread somewhere near this tree. He loved this garden more than anything. And he died in 76.
Oh, yeah.
And
so defeated by Senator Percy. Senator Percy.
Okay.
It's a different tree. It's a southern sycamore.
Okay. Okay. The first money given to get this garden to where it is today came in the late 70s. And in the late 70s, there was an initial restoration. As Council Jones pointed out, there were additional efforts made in the late 80s, and so on and so forth. This is before a restoration that occurred in the early 2000s. Thanks to Dan Perturello and many others at the Park District and Riga. Just gives you a sense of what we are dealing with. We do not have, this is Americans maintaining this garden, so it's not a perfect Japanese garden, but Dan Perturello, who's here, invited in a gentleman named Uchiyama. Uchiyama is in charge of the Portland Japanese garden. He's a garden designer. Mr. Tanaka is a rock expert. They reside in the United States. That's me. Much younger than me. This is 2002. This was envisioned by Uchiyama and the Park District as a potential future for the Japanese garden. And this is that since then. But we have the potential of a tea garden and a pavilion and so on and so forth. Tonight is not about fundraising for that. I'm just pointing it out as a master plan that has been recently created to envision what this garden could be. What tonight is all about is taking this open lawn area where the hogan sat, creating Japanese cherry trees that would be in honor of that connection made 120 years ago between Japan and the United States. And then also using the trees as a signage, a natural signage for people to be able to come onto this space. And imagine, just like in Japan, the weather people on the news in the springtime being down there or talking about that they're going to be blooming next weekend or what have you. This is a way over generations to remind people that we have a connection with Japan. Cherry blossoms do that.
How many trees are you talking about?
50,000. So actually, we have 9 that we just planted last fall. We're working with Karen and her team to decide where and how. We have some idea of where they're going to go. If I ballparked it, I would say it would be wonderful to have about 25 trees put in and not covering that whole area, because you'll see the area can be used for festivals and activities. But I think to have a stroll, an area that you can stroll under these trees, much like you can do it in Washington
100 trees are planted to the east of that, of the entry path. So they weren't in that main field.
Yes, the field would remain open.
Yeah.
This is the restoration that occurred in 2002, basically separating the pond and the lagoon so that the pond wouldn't become dirty from the lagoon. So there's a circulation system, a waterfall that was put in, a number of the original elements left in place, but rock placed. This is, of course, Mayor Daley and some others from the neighborhood. And an introduction of what's going on. This is me in Katsura Sanshi.
Oh.
We planted a Katsura tree in honor of Katsura Sanshi in 2002 for his 5th anniversary. He's a very famous comedian, by the way. They would perform, and they still perform for the Japan Chamber of Commerce this year. I was the funny one here. Of course, these are just pictures, random pictures of the garden being enjoyed. This lantern dates the 1930s. Now we get into the life of the Osaka Garden. These are taken from the various festivals that we've had over the years. This is a member of Uda Senke, which is here in Chicago, the C group. These are various performers. This is the area where the Holoden was, so people can come and enjoy. The last year that we did it, estimated about 5,000 to 6,000 people came over a 2-day period. We had 5 restaurants, tours of the garden, performances throughout the day. Of course, cultural, children's activities. We had kimono dressing or yukata dressing for the kids. And we had some kendo and other martial arts. Of course, different teams and kids did with karate or judo, maybe judo. Japanese sweets, of course. Benihana. And more drums. We have wonderful schedules. I mean, it started early in the morning and went into the night. And does anybody know who this